Good evening. It is Tuesday, October 11th, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show post, live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We will provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports this evening. My name is Big Reg, and I'm joined by my original partner in crime, my brother from another. What's going on, J3? How you feeling this evening? Think you're on mute, partner.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. There seems to be a delay in the stream, so not sure why the audio is acting up, but please bear with us. Go ahead, Big Reg.
All righty, I appreciate that, and we're sorry for any issues that we're having with our streaming service this evening, but we're going to keep pushing on. This evening, we're going to have quick hits. We're going to give you NCAA college football week 6, talk about the NFL week 5, and our final post of the evening. And as always, we appreciate you tuning in. So please sit back and relax and enjoy post on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. Today is the official opening night for the NHL season. For you puckheads out there, which I am one, it is good to have the ice hockey back. See the greatest men in the world on skates do their thing. There were actually 2 games between the Nashville Predators and the San Jose Sharks, which were played over the weekend at the O2 Arena in Prague in the Czech Republic, with Nashville winning both games. But tonight officially is the national opening night for the NHL 2022-2023 hockey season. So shout out to all the puckheads. It's going to be a nice, long, good season. I wanted to tell everybody about three major boxing cards that are going to happen this Saturday, October 15th. The first one, it happens at 2:30 p.m. That's right, in the afternoon. It's going to be on the ESPN Plus platform. This is the rescheduled all-female card from London, headlined by the GOAT, Clarissa Shields, putting up her 3 titles against WBA champion Savannah Marshall for the unified, undisputed middleweight championship of the world. This is going to be a great fight. I've said it before. Marshall is the only person who's ever beaten Clarissa Shields in a boxing match, and that happened when they were both amateurs in the world championships. And Shields is looking to correct that situation. And also, they really don't like each other. They've been talking trash for years, and it's been a major, major, major issue. So I'm looking forward to this. In the co-main event, Michaela Meyer puts up her 2 unified lightweight titles against Alicia Bumgarner, who's putting up one of her titles to unify 3 of the lightweight titles. Again, 2 ladies that have been going back and forth, talking about what they're going to do to each other. So this is going to be a good card, and it's a good opportunity for you to see high-level women's boxing. A lot of people may not like boxing, especially women's boxing. These are 4 of the top 6 women's boxers in the world, pound for pound, on this card at the top 2 events. So it's a great event. Later on at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN, the actual main ESPN, you have undisputed lightweight champion Devin Haney in the rematch against former champion George Kambosos, the person he took the titles from. This is actually coming from Melbourne, Australia, so it'll actually be Sunday morning in Melbourne, but to have the fight hit the U.S. in the evening time. So you can catch it right on ESPN. If you got ESPN, got cable, you should have ESPN. Don't have to pay anything for it. And then later at night at 10 p.m. on Fox pay-per-view, so you got to pay a few dollars unless you have another way to get the fight. Deontay Wilder makes his return versus Robert Helenius, and this is a title eliminator bout. But the undercard in this fight has got 3 good undercard bouts in this. So again, 3 good fight cards for you to check out. Should be a good weekend for boxing.
Who gonna pay to see Wilder fight?
Wilder's still probably the 3rd or 4th best heavyweight in the world, man.
Again, who gonna pay to see Wilder fight?
People paid to see Roy Jones fight Mike Tyson when they was almost 60.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I'm telling you, the undercard is almost worth paying for a pay-per-view. They've got former champions in the co-main event. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you exactly who it is. Give me a quick second.
You think that Haney fight gonna make a difference?
I think it's going to. I think Haney's going to beat him worse, possibly knock him out than he did in the first fight when he went over to Australia and took his titles from him.
Mm.
You got former super middleweight champ Caleb Plant fighting former super middleweight champ Anthony Durrell in the co-main event. For you local guys who are in the DMV, you got one of the Russell brothers, Gary Antonio Russell, fighting Emmanuel Rodriguez, and this is a title eliminator. Whoever wins this fight is going to get a title shot at the bantamweights. So you got some good fights on this card. So
I hope they worth watching.
I hear you. Now, going over to baseball, it's playoff time, folks. So the wild card rounds happened last week after we got off the air. You had the Cleveland Guardians defeating the Tampa Bay Rays 2-0, got them out of there real easy. Won game 1 2-1, game 2 1-0. So 2 close games, but they ended up getting them out of there. The Guardians ended up being the only home team to win the wild card rounds. All the other 3 wild cards, the road teams won. The Seattle Mariners defeated the heavily favored Toronto Blue Jays 2-0, sweeping them. Won game 1 4-0, game 2 10-9. They were up 7 runs in this game. I'm sorry. The Mariners were down 7 runs in this game and came back to win 10-9. So that was a hell of a move there. In the NL, you had the Philadelphia Phillies defeat the St. Louis Cardinals 2-0. So the only wild card series that went 3 games was the New York Mets, the heavily favored New York Mets against the San Diego Padres. And again, the road team, the Padres, beat the Mets 2-1 and got rid of that daunted pitching duo. So shout out again to the Cleveland Guardians, the Seattle Mariners, the San Diego Padres, and the Philadelphia Phillies. So tonight starts the division series. The division series, the best of 5. We've already had 1 game in the books in the NL. The Atlanta Braves take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Again, the road team, the Braves are heavily favored, had one of the best records in the NL almost all year. They won game 1, 7-6. They took a 4-run lead early and just held on for that 7-6 victory. Right now, what's going on, you have the Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners in a major bout back and forth. It is Mariners are leading 7-5 in the bottom of the 9th. So the Astros in with 1 out. So the Astros got 2 more outs to try to tie this and take the lead, or you have another road team taking a victory. The Yankees take on the Cleveland Guardians later tonight, and then the heavily favored LA Dodgers face the San Diego Padres. So J3, who you like in this baseball? I know you don't follow baseball heavily, but you got anybody that you like?
It's hard. It's still hard to say right now because you got some teams that are hungry for that title. So I'm gonna hold off until the next round, and then I'll give you some predictions.
Okay. Fair. Even though that's you getting off a little bit. You asked me for a prediction before the playoffs started. Then you're gonna give me I'm gonna hold off till the championship series. So I'm gonna let you go with that.
Keep it interesting, bro. Keep it interesting.
I got you. And the last thing we're gonna get into is quick hits, and I'm not sure how quick it's gonna get. J3, I gotta get your thoughts on what transpired with the Golden State Warriors and Draymond Green's punch of Jordan Poole. What were your thoughts on the incident itself, and what do you think, if anything, Golden State should do to Draymond to try to help the team out? And do you think that this is going to linger throughout this season and possibly mess up another championship run for Golden State?
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you real quick. What Draymond did was a punk move, right? First of all, you got an issue with your teammate. Don't put it out in public. Y'all supposed to be grown men that are playing together, striving to achieve a level that most people want to get to. And then you're going to sit here and punch him, sucker punch him at that. And not only that, he's almost 70 pounds lighter than you. Why would you do something like that? There cannot be nothing that detrimental to Draymond that he had to do that to his teammate. I'm sorry. I disagree with what happened. And Draymond should not only apologize, but he should walk away from the team.
Walk away from the team completely?
Let's just say take a leave of absence. How's that?
Well, he has done that. He has not been with the team with the exception of coming back the following day after the punch and apologizing. And then that Saturday he came and did a press conference so he could be in front of the press and again apologize. But other than that, he's been away from the team. When he comes back, it's going to be an interesting situation. Unfortunately, fights happen between teammates. Now, me and you have a slight differentiation on a sucker punch. When we're face to face and you push me with two hands, you can't necessarily say it's a sucker punch when I hit you with a right to the jaw. We face to face. Now, should we have ever been face to face? I'll say no. But once we get to that and it's heated, and they were going on it for a while, then when you put your hands on me, if I react, not saying it was right, but if I react, you can't say that was a sucker punch. Just
Bruh, I've known you over 40 years. We have never had an argument so daggone heated that we had to put hands on each other.
I agree.
You please tell me how you going to have somebody who's been under your wing, because remember, Jordan came to that organization. So you can't tell me that he, at one point, he didn't look up to Draymond. How you going to sit up here and look up to somebody and then let the person that you look up to swing on you like that?
I didn't say he was right. I was just clarifying the sucker punch point. He was dead wrong for hitting him. No matter how much trash talk they're going back and forth, hitting and fighting a teammate is always wrong. Unfortunately, it happens. It happens in football. It happens in basketball. Unfortunately, the head coach of the Golden State Warriors knows firsthand because he was what some people say sucker punch, but he was punched by Michael Jordan when they was with the Bulls together. So it happens. I think this issue would have been easily. They could have dealt with it a little more easily if the video didn't come out. Once the video came out and saw how devastating that punch was, and if he didn't have a wall behind him to kind of stop this fall, he literally cold caught Jordan Poole.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how Poole is going to react to it as far as when Draymond gets back, because again, both of them are vying for Draymond's important now. Jordan Poole's part of the future. Both of them have contract extensions coming up. As a matter of fact, Jordan Poole, they have until the 17th to get him on his early rookie contract, or he becomes a restricted free agent at the end of the year, which could cost him more money. So I think Poole is going to get paid within the next 5 to 6 days, which means after that, then you got Wiggins, who's a free agent at the end of the year, and they have till June to get him done. So Wiggins is going to become the next priority. That may leave Draymond with the odd man out. Yeah. But I agree with BJ that Draymond has an anger management issue. And I was reading a story where he said he was in a dark place and all that, and he boarded to work. Draymond needs some professional help to talk through whatever he's going through, because he was slowly melting down more and more, getting more volatile. And yeah, Marcus, whoever leaked that video, they are on a mission to find out, because once they find out who leaked that video, they're going to be fired. Because that's the last thing they wanted to get out. Jerome, I was wrong about the Mets. I thought Scherzer and that pitching staff would be able to hold up. Scherzer got rocked in game 1, and that was the end of that. So that's baseball for you. All right, let's get into NCAA football. And I'm going to be honest as possible to you folks about Alabama. They were lucky to survive that game at home against Texas A&M.
Yep.
Extremely lucky when you're playing without your star quarterback, which they should have been able to handle. But when the replacement, redshirt freshman Jalen Milroe, turns the ball over 3 times in the first half, twice from fumbles where he's doing this thing, running, getting yards, but running around with the ball loose. After you fumble one time, I give you that, because you don't play that often. College is a little different speed. But the second time to fumble, doing the same thing, and then he threw an interception, they was trying to give Texas A&M that game. And then they had a fumble in the second half where wide receiver not paying attention what happened to Milroe earlier. Obviously, their defense is looking to come up behind you and knock the ball out. And what does he do? He's struggling, trying to get one more yard instead of going down and fumbles the ball. So to have 4 turnovers and still win the game 24-20, they should be thankful. But that's a problem.
Yep.
And the fact they had 2 to 3 crucial personal foul penalties, which are you came in on a hit a little late, stuff that Bama usually doesn't do. Those are mental mistakes. So if Bryce Young needs to come back and be healthy ASAP. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to play this week against Tennessee. If he doesn't play, I think Bama loses to Tennessee. If he does play, but is nowhere close to 100%, Bama still got a chance to lose to Tennessee. They need Bryce Young at 85 to 90% to be able to handle Tennessee, because Tennessee's offense is going to put up points. And that's as real as you're going to get it from an Alabama fan. What's your thoughts, J3?
So I agree. Bryce Young definitely needs to play. But what happened to their running game? Where's Bama's running game, bro?
Well, their number 1 rusher actually had a decent game. They just didn't give him the ball enough.
Okay, well, that may be a problem. I think Milroe tried to do too much, and that was the reason why he had so many turnovers. If he'd have just took what they gave him and not tried to get that extra few yards, he wouldn't have fumbled as much as he did, because he definitely was holding that ball like it was a loaf of bread.
Absolutely.
And then let's also talk about Alabama secondary. You're giving up way too many yards, man. Hey, y'all need to tighten up.
Agree on both of those. And that's going to be that's the problem when they get ready to face Tennessee, because at Tennessee, they go to Tennessee, And Tennessee's offense really, really, really is dynamic. And they can go over top. But as far as rushing, the transfer running back Gibbs had 21 carries for 154 yards, J3. So they was running the ball. They just wasn't doing it enough.
Well, they're gonna have to do something because if Bryce isn't throwing the ball, or if he ain't even in the game, it might be a problem for him.
Oh yeah, if Bryce doesn't play, I see Tennessee winning. Period. Because I don't think they can score enough. I think this game is going to be the winner is going to have to put up at least 30 points. So, number 2, Georgia destroyed Auburn.
Stomped them.
They look like the dominant team again, 42-10. I wasn't in the game. Ohio State has dominated Michigan State, 49-20. The Buckeyes offense is by far the best in the country, most consistent. And they've been doing this, missing their best wide receiver and their number 1 running back for most of the season already, and been putting up 40-something almost every game. So Ohio State's going to be a problem. I just want to see when they play another physical team like Notre Dame, when Notre Dame almost beat them in the first game of the season, how are they going to do when they have to play a physical team?
Mm-hmm.
Michigan might be that team. Michigan looks good, and they're making the decision to change quarterbacks and bench the quarterback that won them the Big Ten championship and got them in the college football playoffs. For the young fella, their offense looks more potent, and their defense is still putting up good numbers. They beat Indiana 31-10. Clemson easily beat Boston College. USC easily beat Washington State. Oklahoma State killed Texas Tech. I mean, the only surprise in this was number 18 UCLA, which is undefeated, beat number 11 Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's been talking about USC in the Pac-12 and all the talent that USC's brought in. Quiet as is kept. Chip Kelly's got his UCLA Bruins starting to play some real good football. And it's going to be interesting to see. They passed the Utah test. USC gets the Utah test this week to see if USC can do the same thing against a physical team. So it is going to be interesting.
Go Trojans.
And shout out to University of South Carolina. They beat number 13 Kentucky 24-14, which was a big upset. Also, shout out to Arizona State. All the turmoil they've been going through, losing most of their coaching staff before the season. Herm Edwards getting fired, and rumors out there that people in the athletic department were sending information to opposing teams to try to get Herm fired.
That's gangster.
They end up winning this weekend, and former then Washington Redskins, now Washington Commanders, and former Pittsburgh Steeler Ryan Clark, his son, had a pivotal pick 6 in that game that was deciding score to win that game. So shout out to them. And for the professor, Notre Dame, they did their thing. They beat number 16 BYU 28-20. So that was a very, very big win for that new staff. Maybe get a little heat off of them for a little while because it was getting hot.
Yeah,
it was getting hot out there. So some notable Week 7 games. One of the biggest games of the year, and beginning of this year, I wouldn't have said this is a game. Alabama dropped from number 1 to number 3. So number 3 Alabama takes on undefeated number 6 Tennessee at Tennessee. That's 3:30 Saturday on CBS. That's going to be a heck of a game.
Smoking.
I think Alabama's defense is going to try to carry more of the weight for the offense, especially if Bryce doesn't play. But that Tennessee offense is looking real scary. You also have number 10 Penn State in their first major matchup playing at number 5 Michigan. So this is kind of a mini eliminator game. To lose to this game takes a big step back because they're all in the same division. Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State are all in that same division. They need to change that when they add these other teams. But It is what it is. They're 12 p.m. at Fox. As I mentioned earlier, number 7 USC goes to visit number 20 Utah. Can USC go into Utah and win against a physical team? That will tell me if they're going to be a possible college football playoff team or not. Then you got number 8 Oklahoma State playing number 13 TCU, another big matchup in the Big 12. That's at 3:30. And a interesting game. NC State at undefeated number 18 Syracuse.
Yeah, Syracuse. Who would have thought? What?
I mean, Syracuse has been doing some things, and I think their coach needed that because he was in a little trouble. But so shout out to the Orangemen doing their stuff. And then the nightcap in the SEC is number 16 Mississippi State, which is still a hard team to deal with against 22 Kentucky. So there's some good games out there, but I am concerned about Tennessee. And again, that Penn State-Michigan game is an eliminator game, and the USC-Utah game, all of these games, and the Oklahoma State and TCU, all these games have college football playoff implications. The loser may be real close to being eliminated. So shout out to college football. It's getting real now. We're starting to get cold, depending on which part of the country you're in, you get some frost in some areas. Down south, it's not as hot as it used to be in the beginning of the season. So teams coming into Florida, coming into Louisiana, won't get as fatigued. So you really going to have to play some football now. So I'm looking forward to these games this coming weekend. And I will be at a downtown D.C. at the Alabama watch party to win or lose, to root on the Tide against Tennessee this weekend. So shout out to your favorite team. And an honorable mention, I've almost let this out. We got a shout out to my man, Prime.
I was getting ready to say, I was waiting for you to finish so I could just interject on that.
And Jackson State. Jackson State is undefeated.
5-0.
Doing their thing.
Yes.
And the incident after the game where Deion went in to give the bro hug, handshake, and then get a little half hug. And the coach, Alabama State, gave him the stiff arm. Come on, man.
You know that's all about jealousy. He wanted, and then he had the audacity to say that Prime is not swag. Really?
Yeah.
Who are you to define who is swag and who is not swag? Come on, man. That's jealousy all day. Why? Why do we have to do that? All Deion's trying to do is promote his program so that those kids can improve themselves and be proud of what they're doing and what they're trying to be.
Not just his program, he's promoting HBCUs as well.
Agreed.
And he said in his press conference, look, I'm trying to sell a game. Yeah, I made a statement, but the statement was to help them out. Jackson State travels heavy since Prime has been there. But he wanted to make sure that Alabama State pulled their weight. And guess what they did? They sold out that stadium. So that means Alabama State made tens of thousands of dollars, if not $100,000 more than they would have made. But yet they want to have a problem because I think you're 100% right. It's jealousy. They mad that Deion's getting all the spotlight. Guess what? Deion brings spotlight with him.
Yep.
And you should be happy. There are HBCU games on television now, on cable TV, that you couldn't find before Deion got there.
Absolutely correct. Okay, Jerome, please expound on what you're saying, because from what I understand, Deion said that they should have invited his team to their homecoming because he was going to come up there to destroy him. That's a man with confidence. That's not disrespectful. That's a man with confidence.
Yeah. They're not used to people being brash and real. And Deion's feeling a little disrespected because he's looking at the overall landscape of HBCUs, and he's saying if we do this right, we all can get paid a lot of money. But if y'all keep doing stuff the way y'all been doing it, then none of us are going to make money. It's hurting everybody. And that we pointed out a couple of weeks back about the disparity between what HBCUs get when they go play Power 5 versus the FCS teams, other predominantly white schools that go play Power 5. They get $1 million, $1.5 million, some of them almost $2 million to play these losing games. The HBCUs get hundreds of thousands. So he's saying, stop letting people take advantage of us, and we all can prosper if we all get on the same page. I'm just saying.
All right, enough on it.
All right. And I will check out that article, BJ. And if we need to touch back on it, we will, if we were wrong in our point of view on this.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into the NFL. The biggest news of the weekend. First, the NFL Players Association and the NFL agreed on a revised protocols for the concussion protocol that went into effect this weekend. What's ironic, though, what is really ironic,
same team.
the team that caused this new protocol to be in place end up losing their replacement quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, in the first quarter. And again, he passed all their protocols back in the tunnel, but the spot up top said he showed some instability. So they end up playing with their third string quarterback, a rookie, Skylar Thompson. So it's tough. Now, you've got the Dolphins with Tua and Teddy both in the protocol. I don't think Tua's getting out anytime soon. Bridgewater has a chance to get cleared to play this week against Minnesota. The other big news was, what do you think about those two roughing the passer calls over the weekend?
You know what? I seen both of them, and I'm sitting here looking at my TV like, are you serious? How are you going to call roughing the passer on either one of them? I mean, they're regular tackles. Come on, man. Really?
I mean, the Tom Brady one was just absurd. He grabbed him around the waist. He does what they tell him to do. Bring him and put him on the side. Tom Brady actually fell on Grady Jarrett, fell on his chest, and then went to the ground. He didn't just sling him to the ground like Tua was in the game, which the play that Tua got his second concussion was not penalized. But Tom Brady goes to the ground at a critical point in the game. Atlanta was on a serious comeback. That was third down. That would have forced them to punt back to Atlanta, and they call that garbage. And then Chris Jones, I mean, for a defensive lineman, that was a dream play. Right. Hit the quarterback,
and take the ball.
And take the ball all in one moment, and they call it freaking.
Right. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah. So they say they're going to talk about addressing this. I think they better address it, because if not, the NFL and their rules committee aren't thinking about unintentional consequences. Because if I'm a defensive player, okay, you're saying the quarterback is everything. We don't mean anything. So if I'm going to get a 15-yard penalty, I might as well get my money's worth. No, I'm serious.
You're right about that.
Because if I grab him around the waist and sling him down, y'all might call a penalty. If I hit him in the target zone, in the midsection, and y'all say I put too much weight on him, y'all call a penalty. I can't hit him low. I can't hit him high. So I might as well go for the kill shot if you're going to give me a 15-yard penalty. And then what they're trying to prevent, you're going to have more quarterbacks get hurt, because defensive linemen and linebackers are laying up off of quarterbacks, hitting them. In that same game, later in the half, the Raiders DN who was killing them during the game grabbed Patrick Mahomes. He just grabbed him and bear hugged him until they blew the whistle. So they're either going to have to start calling in the grass, which they called for a few years, and then stop calling, because the quarterbacks are going to try to get away, going to try to throw when they go into the ground. So either you're going to, as soon as I grab him, you're going to say the play's dead, or we're going to go for kill shots and just deal with it. And you're right, BJ. The same kind of play that Tom Brady got a roughing the passer, Mahomes got slung down harder with no call.
Nope.
And I think there's some bias because they think Mahomes is a quote-unquote mobile quarterback, i.e. a black quarterback that's using his legs, just not his arm. So we let them get hit because they run. They're used to it. But we can't have Tom Brady get hit or Derek Carr. They pocket passes. They vulnerable. Come on, man. They playing professional football, getting paid $40 million a year. Stop it. Either play touch with them like they do in practice where all I got to do is get to them and touch with two hands and it's down, or let them play football. Stop. I don't know if you had anything else to add to that, but that was just, that infuriated me, especially that Jones play. That was a beautiful play. And he tried to brace himself. He couldn't use two hands because he had the ball in his other hand.
Right.
Yeah. So
Jerome said, "Give them all flags." LOL.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's getting to a point. If you're a defensive player, who would want to play defense knowing you everything stacked against you? Now you can't even try to affect the quarterback.
Right.
So if you're gonna penalize me, then I might as well get my money's worth.
Absolutely.
Talking about some games, man. I don't know if you watched it, but Thursday night, that Colts against the Broncos game on Amazon Prime, that was so painful to watch.
Dude, I'm telling you now, if I was Russell Wilson, I'd be in the front office like, look, y'all got to get me an offensive coordinator because this ain't working. He's looking like he's digressing instead of progressing. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I truly think the coach, probably a nice guy, but I think he's been hired one level above his ability. He's probably a good coordinator, but a head coach, and he's still learning, so I'm going to give him a little grace, but he making Russell look real bad. So, and then they came out this week and said Russell's got a partially torn lat muscle, trying to make some excuses, but I mean, that game was painful to watch. And then we got to see him again because the Broncos had like 6 or 7 primetime games this season. So it's going to be ugly. I hate to do this, but I got to give props where props are due.
Oh, boy.
The Dallas Cowboys defense is elite.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the whole team, but that defense, especially that front seven, they devastate teams. They haven't allowed the team to score 20 points yet this season. The only concern I have for them is their lead guy, number 11, injured his groin in that game. He kept playing. So groin injuries sometimes are hard to heal. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Parsons is in these next couple of weeks because he still had adrenaline flowing during the game when he was playing. And you can see after he run, he grabbed his groin area that he was in real pain. So, but what they did to the Rams in LA, that wasn't nice. Considering that their quarterback threw for only 102 yards and they still dominated the game at 122-10.
I'm gonna tell you what's helping them out a lot too is Pollard running the ball.
Yes.
Zeke better watch out.
Zeke stays a number. Zeke did a smart thing a year ago when they needed some cap space money, when he restructured his deal, that pushed him out a little longer. But there's a good chance that this might be Zeke's last year in Dallas. Definitely next year will be his last year if he comes back. So, yeah. To all the Eagles fans out there, that team is legit. The NFC East has gone from the NFC least to they might be the beast again. You got Dallas. You got the Eagles 5-0, Dallas 4-1, and sis, your Giants. I gotta give them props.
The little people
4-1 doing their thing.
The little people,
but yeah,
Packers. I'm like, what in the world going on?
I don't want to do that. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm not gonna do that. All I'm gonna say is the Bills had a dominant victory and leave it at that. We're gonna leave that alone. Cause y'all family, we ain't gonna do that to you.
But they stinking it up though. Good Lord.
Yeah. Yo, the Baltimore Ravens have the best quote-unquote non-position player in the NFL. Justin Tucker is a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That man had 4 field goals in their 1917 victory over the Bengals for first place in the AFC North. And when that man kicked that 53-yard field goal and just put his arms out to the crowd like, y'all welcome. And then the 49-yard game winner. No, yo, Justin Tucker's a monster.
That's my man.
Yeah, he's well deserved to be the highest paid kicker in the NFL. And on top of that, he's a world-class opera singer. So some people get all the breaks. We talked a little bit earlier about the Chiefs against the Raiders. J3, I need you to explain to me. You playing the Chiefs. There's no more cheater. So if you don't have a cheater and the other wide receivers are dropping passes
left and right,
when it's fourth down, when you're in the red zone, who is it that you're not going to let beat you?
Boy, look at here. He got 4 touchdowns. Let's say it right there, my man, Kelsey. Yay. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
How can you let Travis Kelsey not only catch 1 touchdown, but 4?
Wide open, too. I mean, he just doing it.
Mahomes is the man, and Andy Reid dial up things, but he is not going to beat me. Whoever the Raiders defensive coordinator is, they got some explaining to do. Because that is ridiculous. Now, he only had 28 yards receiving, but he had 7 catches for 28 yards and 4 TDs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I loved it.
Unbelievable.
Just so y'all know, he's on my fantasy team. Yes, sir.
We got to shout out again those New York Giants.
The little people.
I got to say, their coach is doing a fantastic job because not much has changed really on their roster. And he's actually making Daniel Jones look like a legitimate starting quarterback in the NFL. But how can the Packers go up 17 points, up 20-3 in the first half, and lose a game to the Giants and get shut out 24-0 the rest of the game? You can't count those last 2 points because the Giants purposely gave them a safety so they could get a free kick to end the game. So
let me ask you this. So with that being said, let's flip it on the other side with the Packers. What's going on with their offense? What's up with Rodgers? I mean, because he's overthrowing passes, throwing it in the out of bounds. I mean, what's really going on? Does he miss Devontae Adams that bad that he can't throw it to another receiver?
Aaron Rodgers has big-time trust issues. You see who his number one receiver is these days?
Lazar?
No. It's the old man that he had them bring back last.
Oh, Cobb? You talking about Cobb?
Randall Cobb. Absolutely. Yeah. He kept going to Randall Cobb over and over and over again. When those young fellas make a mistake, he's almost done with them. And people have been whispering it. Aaron Rodgers is a front runner. He likes being up early and controlling the game and doing what his things. When people come back, Aaron Rodgers shuts down. And most of their losses that they've had, once they start trailing, Aaron Rodgers has rarely done anything in the last 3 to 4 years to help bring a team back.
Well, that's a problem.
But yeah, he's the highest paid player in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a problem because right about now, he's suffering. And you can see it. I mean, it's like when he's on the field, like, dude, who are you throwing to?
Yeah, they got an issue. And their main problem, the Minnesota Vikings, which beat them down already this year.
Mm-hmm.
Professor, this is for you.
Captain Kirk?
Kirk is looking like a competent quarterback right now.
Captain Kirk?
And Justin Jefferson, if they continue to use that playbook that they brought from the LA Rams to keep getting Justin Jefferson open, I mean, he is cooking people. The only team that shut him down was the Eagles.
And again, you wonder, how can he get the ball so many times? Because he had, like 12 or 13 catches for 154 yards? Like, yes, who's defending him? Who is y'all defensive coordinator not to know that he's going to go to him? I mean, I'm trying to understand.
But see, that's just like what the Rams do with Cooper Kupp. They move him so many places that it's hard to just one-on-one against him or double team him or triple team him. They doing things to make sure that doesn't happen. They let that happen in the Philadelphia game against the Eagles, and they said they're not going to let that happen again. So, he's a monster. But the play of the game came in the fourth quarter because I got to give the Bears some props. The Bears have been struggling. People was getting on them about they're not letting Justin Fields throw the ball. The Bears were coming back and making this game, and they were driving down 29-22, driving, got the ball into Vikings territory, wide receiver trying to get out of bounds. And again, instead of just getting out of bounds, taking the cheap yards, he tried to get a couple extra yards, and DB Cameron Dantzler Sr. ran up behind him and just snatched the ball out of his hand. So,
yep, and that's all she wrote.
Game over. So
that's all she wrote.
Yeah. All right, we're going to talk about Census and Professor's former team, those Commanders. First and foremost, we can talk about Carson Wentz all we want, but the defense didn't do their job. They let Derrick Henry rush for 102 yards, 2 TDs. I understand he's a monster, but you got to beat the Titans, you've got to stop the run and make Derrick Henry rush for like 25 times and keep him under 80 yards and frustrate their offense. You cannot let him get off. But then your boy Carson Wentz, man.
You mean your boy?
he the gift that keeps on giving, bro. Because as I said before, he gonna keep both teams in the game.
Yep.
He's gonna throw. He threw a dime pass in the corner for a touchdown to De'Ami Brown. Threw a bomb to De'Ami Brown. It's like, okay, maybe Wentz gonna do some things. Them dudes had first and goal from the 3. And this dude, first of all, they called 3 pass plays, which was stupid. First and goal from the 3, you're going to call 3 pass plays. The Titans dropped 8 people in the coverage. There was no place really for him to throw the ball. But then he tries to force things. You know that's in his DNA. And what does this dude do? Throw an interception at the goal line to end the game.
You're not surprised, are you?
Oh, no.
Oh,
That's
okay.
who he is.
Just checking.
That's who he is. But unfortunately, his coach got a little frustrated and let the truth out a little bit when they asked him, what's the difference between your team, Ron? You're in the third year, and you got other teams in your division with newer coaching staffs that are looking like they're further along. And he said, the quarterback.
So again, like I told you before, Ron, you were the one that brought him there. You had other options out there, and you brought him to your squad. So don't go up here and throw him under the bus because of the decisions that he made on the field. He's doing the best that he can. However, you the one that brought him here. So what is that saying about you?
You're right. But let me ask you a question. Was he wrong?
Ron?
Was the statement wrong?
Oh, no, not at all. No, not
okay.
at all.
He just shouldn't have said
it. Right. Because we already know who he was. That's why I was like, when y'all brought him there, I'm like, I'm not following y'all no more. Because that's just stupid. That's real stupid. All these quarterbacks out here you could have got, you bring him? Nah, not me.
Well, supposedly they were supposed to be getting Jimmy G. And then Jimmy G got the surgery. So that scared him off. So.
And what is Jimmy G doing right now?
Winning.
Thank you.
Yep. The Cleveland Browns had a heartbreaking loss to the Chargers. Jacoby Brissett, he's had a solid year. It's the backup quarterback who's thrust into the starting position because of the 11-game suspension. But Jacoby Brissett threw a fourth quarter red zone interception that probably cost them the game because they was in field goal range already. So they're going to get a field goal. So they at least going to take the lead. And then after that, they get the ball back. They drive back down. And then the field goal kicker. I understand he's a replacement kicker. But K. York, come on, man. You can't miss a 38-yard field goal in the NFL. You just can't do that. So Chargers squeak out a 30-28 against Brissett. One good thing for the Chargers, Austin Eckler looked like he back to his Pro Bowl form.
Yes. That's my starting running back. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he put up some numbers. Patriots shut out the Lions. The only surprising thing about that is they actually shut out the Lions. The Lions were the number one offense in the NFL. So
I was hurt about that. So hurt. Ugh.
Yeah, so I gotta give Bill Belichick some props on that. He confused them, befuddled them, and then the Bucs. I expected the Bucs to beat the Falcons because that's what they do. But as we talked about earlier, that roughing the passer call that they called against the Falcons late in the fourth quarter, when the Falcons were down 21-0 and scored 15 straight points in the fourth quarter. And then they do that to him. So that was just a terrible call. What you think about your boy Taysom Hill?
I don't know, man. He's still a wild child.
Taysom Hill scored 3 touchdowns rushing and threw a touchdown to give the Saints a victory over the Seahawks. So the other games ain't that much. The 49ers, that we said earlier, Jimmy G just keep winning. They beat the Panthers 37-15, and not only did they beat the Panthers, they got the coach fired.
Well, first of all, I mean, Baker Mayfield is trying to improve that team. So firing the coach, I don't know if that was a plus because they should have did it last year. They didn't have to wait till this year for him to continue on with the losing season. But I mean, their squad just needs help, and obviously he wasn't getting it done. So, he caught it.
Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield is a backup quarterback at best in the NFL. I'm not sure if his ego and his pride will allow him to be a backup, but if he's smart, he will realize that, and he can stay in the NFL for 10 years more being a backup. But if he's dead set or he's a starting quarterback, this may be Baker Mayfield's last year in the NFL. And if you're a potential head coaching candidate, I'm not sure if I'd want to take that Carolina job. They got a lot of holes. They haven't been able to get a quarterback in there. And now you're seeing that you got an owner. While he's willing to spend money, he's also willing to give you your walking papers, no matter how much longer you have on your contract. Because Matt Rule had 4+ years and over $40 million still left on his contract, and he got him out of there. So this week, we got some great games, but unfortunately, we got another dud on Thursday night. I got to be real. The Washington Commanders playing the Bears. I think it'll be better than last week's game, but that's hard to pay $1.1 billion and have games like this. But then we got two monster games. You got the Bills at the Chiefs to see who is
the AFC
going to have the number one seed advantage in the AFC. And then Sunday night, Cowboys at Eagles to see one who's number one in the NFC East and the number one seed in the NFC. So those are two monster games. And then some other ones.
So who you liking in them? But who you liking in them before you move forward? Who you liking in them?
The Chiefs are 3-1 against the Bills. I like the Chiefs, especially since they're playing in Kansas City.
Okay.
Cowboys at Eagles. I think the Eagles have a better overall full team, but I think this is going to be a dog fight to the very end. The winner's going to win by 3. I would lean toward the Eagles, but I'm not really strong on that.
Ooh.
These going to be good games. The sneaky New York Jets, 3-2. Can they give the Packers another L? That would be interesting. The Ravens go to the New York Giants. I think this is going to be a real good game to see how good the Giants are. Because if the Giants can beat the Ravens, that puts them in a whole different category. And that makes the Giants a playoff team to me.
Yeah, but the Ravens are not the Ravens of the past. I think their secondary is still suspect. So if they do beat them, I'm going to applaud them. But are they going to be the next tier? I don't know. We'll see when they go up against Dallas and when they go up against Philly.
But did you think the Giants would have anywhere close to this kind of record?
Hell no.
Okay, so
I didn't even think they was going to beat the Packers.
Yeah. And then Monday night, unfortunately, we got the Broncos again, but it's a division game. Broncos at Chargers, so hopefully Denver can do a little better. But I think they got a possibility of getting crushed by the Chargers. So that is your NFL football. I think we're finally going to start seeing which teams are not only good, but very good. I don't think we have any great teams in the NFL this year, at least not right now. But I think we have 3 very good teams, possibly 4, which would be the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles. And based on the way the Cowboys defense is playing, I think they're real close to being there. And if they can beat the Eagles, I got to put them up there. So
you still don't think the Vikings are a top tier team?
Yeah, man, I can't trust Kirk Cousins that
much. Oh, wow.
Your boy got big game anxiety. When they got to play a primetime game or they the only game being played, Kirk Cousins disappears.
Mm-hmm.
So until he gets over that, I can't trust him. So.
Oh, okay.
All right, it is time for us to get out of here. The hour has flown by quickly. So it's time for our final post. J3, what you got for me?
Yeah, I just want everyone to realize that we still have daylight and sun out. So when you get the opportunity, go outside, take a walk, get some fresh air. It's healthy for your body, it's healthy for your mind, and it's healthy for your heart.
Absolutely. Agree 1,000%. I want to shed a little light on a story. We haven't really covered it, but if you followed anything over the past 2 weeks, unfortunately, another example of how women's sports and athletics are poorly ran, underfunded, and in the situation of the NWSL, which is the National Women's Soccer League, and the United States Soccer Federation, have a systemic problem with allowing sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, and in some places, straight up predator sexual behavior by coaches and organizations, and everybody turns their head around. If you haven't followed the story, there was a recent report released by a former U.S. attorney, which showed that not only at the NWSL level, which is the professional league, they went all the way down to the high school level and club league, that it prevails that there is an air of allowing these women to be treated anyway, and for them to just be thankful that they are allowed to play the sport. Like anything else, if we don't protect our ladies, your daughters, the women in professional sports, what kind of society are we? And if you're going to do an investment in a team, don't just half do it. Like anything else in life, if you want something to be prosperous and be successful, you got to put 100% effort into it and 100% back it. You can't put a little money into it and just say, well, I hope it makes some money, and not follow it up. So again, we got to do better with women's sports, whether that's soccer, basketball, women's hockey, all the women's youth sports out there, volleyball,
softball.
Please give them the support that they deserve, that by law is mandated, especially on the collegiate level, and stop allowing these young ladies to be taken advantage of. If they report something, act on it.
Mm-hmm.
And stop being worried about we got to protect the program. And I'll leave it at that. As always, we'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. We appreciate your time and opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. We're here each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for our live show. We appreciate if you could join us live. But if for some reason you can't join us live, you could always download our past shows. We upload them to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, Positions on Sports Talk Show. You can check them out there. Or if you prefer podcasting, check out your favorite podcast platform. Again, Positions on Sports Talk Show. You can look us there. Please like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. Subscription is free. Really will help us to increase our numbers. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Positions on Sports, and at Twitter at Positions on SBO1. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, please be safe out there. The pandemic, they say it's over, but it's not. And there's a new wave coming through. So protect yourself, protect your family. And we'll see you here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Have a great week. Peace.
See ya.